Hi everyone, A Loving Soul here. I hope this video finds you well. We're back in Duel Links. I'm sort of getting back into the swing of things. Today I'm just going to be sharing some replays I had with a friend of mine. I'm going to be showing a medley of decks that I have available to me from when I was playing Duel Links a while ago. You can see that I'm still making my way back up. I'm trying to accrue gems again and build a new deck. And let's get to it. Alright, we're starting off with Bandit Keith Vampires. I'm running Bandit. True to his name. We're against St. Truesdale. I'm going to be stopping and pausing through the duel to explain my thought process. So if you haven't seen Vampires in a while, I don't think they're meta anymore. There's two key cards to Vampires. One is Familiar. Familiar is a card that it's going to you're going to be able to search through your deck and add a vampire monster to your hand, but at the cost of dumping of vampire cards. So we're probably going to dump either Grace or Kingdom in order to search our other cards. Further into the game, you'll see another card that enables Vampire Synergy, which is Vampire Retainer. And unlike Familiar, which searches monsters, Retainer is going to search spells. So let's get into it. Turn 1, we're going to play Skull. We're going to dump a Retainer, like I mentioned. We do this because we want to have flexibility. We want to be able to search both monsters and spells. And we're going to use Retainer's effect to special summon himself by dumping the Familiar we had in hand. Retainer, we're going to do that to get Takeover. This is probably our best trap card because it's going to be able to dig the other kingdom through the deck. My opponent, Mystic's Cosmic Cyclones are Takeover. That's perfectly fine. We can just chain the activation. We get our kingdom from our deck. And we also get to summon Familiar from the grave. The key thing is that since we used Takeover to summon Familiar, we don't have to banish this because we special summoned it with Takeover rather than Familiar's own effect. So we're playing against Cyberdarks. Cyberdarks tend to not get very big, so I'm not too worried. We also have Grace in order to do some popping shenanigans the next turn. The opponent's just going to set up, get Keel, Claw, dump an extra deck monster to the grave. Keel's effect is that if Keel destroys a monster, I take 300 points of burn, and that's fine. So we take the battle damage and 300 points of burn. We're at 3,000. One thing to keep in mind is that if we have Bandit, if we get down to 1,500 life points, we can take a set card from our opponent and add it to our own side of the field. It's just a little something. Vampires are typically good at manipulating their life point totals. Pretty straightforward turn. So with Grace, I can make my opponent mill a card. This synergizes with Vampire Kingdom. If my opponent sends a card from their deck to the graveyard, I get to pop a card. The reason why I called Spell here is I already saw them play a Cosmic Cyclone. This means usually opponents play more than one Cosmic Cyclone. I just wanted to get a guaranteed mill. I didn't feel too comfortable making him mill a monster just quite yet. So mill a spell, activate Kingdom. I try to pop the back row. Turns to be an enemy controller. My opponent's going to chain it and just change my Grace to defense mode. I think we're fine here. We dump our second Familiar, and we're going to use Familiar's effect to special summon itself. We dump our second Kingdom because we already have Kingdom, so it's sort of like an extra resource that we don't need. And with Familiar, we're going to get our second Grace because we're probably going to lose this Grace. So we're thinking ahead, right? My opponent uses Cannon, gets a Horn to his hand. He plays Horn. Cannon allows him to draw. So there's a sequence of events here that just happened that was a little unfortunate for my opponent. Notice that he self-milled the card from his deck, which procs my Kingdom, allowing me to blow up one of his Cyberdarks. That was just an interesting interaction that happened in this game that I wanted to bring up. This turn's pretty simple. We had our Grace, so we thought one turn ahead. We're going to use Grace. Here I'm just going to call Monster. I have one monster in the deck, which is Vampire Vamp, which is our alternate win condition, which allows you to suck a higher attack point monster. Once again, we could use it, but we're just going to close out the game here. I'm going to pop this, and then we're just going to double swing for game. Alrighty, so this is a bit of a miniature. I'm going to be playing Odeon, and it's going to trigger a lot of PTSD because of endless trap hell shenanigans. But this is a hybrid deck, and I love playing hybrid decks, which is why I wanted to include this in the video. So I'm going to pause real quick. If you notice in our hand, we have Amazonas, but we also have masked heroes. So Amazonas heroes here. So Amazonas, pretty much just going to get your Onslaught. That's pretty much the card you almost always want to get with Princess. You're just going to set 3 in some order in order to play around, possible back row removal. And our opponent shows us he's playing some variant of Red Eyes. Gonna get Slash Dragon, and then he has a Wyvern set. I believe I misplay a little bit here with how I chain my traps, but I'm gonna win the interaction anyways. So I'm gonna chain my Widespread Ruin and Wall of Disruption. And we're just going to close out the game here. Amazonas Onslaught's going to let us special summon this Paladin in the battle phase. And we're going to overkill this opponent, even though they started out with an extra 1,000 life points. So, yeah, fun game with a hybrid deck, Amazonas Warriors. Alright, so I'm really excited to share this deck list in particular because it contains a hybrid deck. We'll start off with Spell Specialist. I'm going to pause here. So if you notice in our hand, we have Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. I'm going to call him Blue Boy. He's lovingly named Blue Boy by a lot of people in the community. And we have another card that isn't quite so typical in our Spellbook decks, which is Cosmo Brain. So this is a mashup between Blue Eyes and Spellbooks. Alright, let's continue with our opponent's turn. So he plays Neos Fusion turn 1. He's going to get out his Brave Neos, and he's also going to play this Launcher Spider, I believe, this Blast Spider. So he's playing some sort of Desperado deck probably from that EX Structure deck. Turn 1, we're just going to show you the typical combos that we do with Cosmo Brain Spellbooks. Off the top, we got a normal monster, Dragon Sphere of Light, even though it's an effect monster, is treated as a normal monster, so we can use it for the cost of Cosmo Brain. It's going to come out as a 3100 beat stick. But now we're going to go through the Blue Boy loop. So with Blue Boy, we look at our hand. Okay, which book do we not have? So we're going to get Secrets. And then Secret's going to get out our Master. And the Master is just going to get out our Eternity. Usually, if you don't have Organization in your hand, you'd get Organization. But since we have this hand in particular, we have the luxury of getting an Eternity. Alrighty, so we're just doing our turn 1 plays. And this is the cool part of Blue Eyes Spellbooks. Usually, Spellbooks have this hard time of dealing a lot of damage. So we can turn this wimpy 500 Blue Boy into a 3000 beat stick, which is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Next, we're just going to set up our Spellbook of Fate. Notice that I first sacrificed my Blue Boy to get out the Blue Eyes, and then played Organization. You need to do this, otherwise we won't get the full effect of Organization because your deck's going to get reshuffled. Since we have 3 in the grave, I'm just going to banish now in order to get rid of Neos, and then we're going to get Eternity to get our Spellbook of Secrets to set up for next turn. Swing here. We get 1600 damage. Then he shows me he has Barrow Dragon in his hand. It's kind of unfortunate. Barrow Dragon's going to be able to flip his coins and blow up one of my monsters, in this case Cosmo Brain. This is kind of looking bad. He's probably going to blow up my Blue Eyes here. He's draw sense high level. He goes into battle phase, blows up my Blue Eyes. This looks really bad, right? We have nothing but this Spellbook of Secrets. But off the top, we top deck Swing of Memories, and this is going to let us go off. We go through a mini loop. We use Secrets to get the Blue Boy, but since our grave already has 3 Spellbooks, we have just enough to get our second Fate off. We're going to go ahead and banish now, before going into the battle phase, so his Desperado Barrow Dragon can't flip his coins to blow up our monster. Alright, we banish it, we use Swing of Memories to bring back Blue Eyes, and swing for game. Alrighty, so this is the Vampire deck list. You have your 2 copies of Retainer and Familiar respectively. They're your combo cards, and in order to get them into the grave, you have your starter cards, which are Samurai Skull and Gozuki respectively. Our boss monsters in this deck are Vampire Grace and Vampire Vamp. In the past, other people have played cards like Vampire Crimson, and that might be something you want to look into. 2 more vampire cards that you might look for are Vampire's Domain and Takeover. Takeover is nice because it helps you get out your Vampire Kingdom for you. For our semi-limited cards, we have Enemy Controller. Because we have a lot of opportunities to get these really cheap floating bodies, which are Familiar and Retainer, we can use Econ Take in order to cheat some opponents out of the game. Your extra deck doesn't matter, so I just threw 5 random monsters in order to shroud our deck a little bit. And that's pretty much it. So for the Amazonas Heroes deck list that we showed, it's a nice intersection of Amazonas with Masked Heroes. Your usual turn 1 play wants to be Amazoness Princess to get your Onslaught. And the unique part is that we have Destiny Hero Decider as our hero of choice. Decider is nice because he has the nice protective effect on level 6 or higher monsters can attack you, as well as being able to recycle himself if you do decide to go for mass change. You can run as many Ankis as you have available. Vision Hero is just nice. You can use your traps as tribute fodder, and you can recycle it with Odeon's Endless Trap Hell. Alrighty, for the Blue Eyes Spellbooks deck list. So some background about this deck list was at the time when the EX Structure deck came out for Cosmo Brain and Blue Eyes, I didn't want to shell out cash for a second copy of the deck, so I thought, what was the best way I can actually use this? And I had already invested into the Blue Boy or Spellbook deck list, so being able to play a hybrid deck of the two was really interesting. So what do we have here? We have Spell Specialist. So when this deck first came out, you could use a Trick Up the Sleeve to guarantee Cosmo Brain in your first hand, but that obviously that doesn't exist anymore, so we go for something else. Spell Specialist allows you to get better chances to start with a spellbook in your hand because we have so many different types of spells in our deck. And usually your starting play is going to be wanting to either play Blue Boy or Secrets, and then from there the goal is to get 3 spellbooks in your grave to set up a Fate turn 1. What's the 3 spellbooks are usually going to be Secrets, into your Master, and then into an Organization. One thing to note about Organization is that if you are planning to use Cosmo Brain's second effect, which is to turn your Blue Boy into a Blue Eyes White Dragon, to do that first and then to use your Organization. Otherwise, it'll mess up the order of your cards. Your extra deck doesn't really matter with this deck. You're not going to use it, but overall, this is a pretty fun deck. Notice like a lot of budget options are here. I'm cutting costs. Swing of Memories, this is definitely suboptimal. If you have access to Silver's Cry, just play that. I hope you all enjoyed this recap of a medley of decks from a different metagame. Currently, I'm trying my best to climb up through the lower ladder with the decks I have available, and hopefully I'll find some quality games to share with you guys then. Until next time, peace.